Okay, a good afternoon. If somebody is here in the chat, could they please confirm for me if they are able to hear me clearly? Let's start off with that. Labaron, good afternoon. Thank you very much for the confirmation. Let's give the people a little bit more minutes to see if they are able and willing to join. And if they are not, then we are, of course, just going to start off with a little Outlook stream for the week, where we are going to cover what we can anticipate, mainly on the Forex market. But if, of course, there are other people who want to see some specific charts, they, of course, could ask for those and request those so that we can have a little chat about them. So in the live stream itself, we will mainly be covering the major pairs on the forex market, mainly because that's where the main interest lays at this moment in time. And that is, yeah, that's my opinion. So that's what we mainly are going to cover. We'll also pick up the economic calendar in preparation for it. Select some of the, make a screenshot. And I think you should be able to see the economic calendar right now. Okay, we're just going to start off, and if people are going in, hopping in a little later, that's also fine. And then we can just simply repeat the questions if they have it. A little Outlook stream because, of course, it is a Monday. Monday is could be a trade day, not always. In some scenarios, you could. So most of the times, it isn't. Why I'm leaving Monday open as a trade day and while I mainly skip it for the week is so that we can have an easier read with how Monday's candles close, and with the overall bias it is easier to frame an overall weekly profile if we are skipping out on watching the Monday's price action. So just let it play out, and afterwards we can easily frame a little bit more of a weekly profile setting in the overall bias. But if we are looking for an overall bias, of course, we need to see and look at the fact how the economic calendar is created. And of course, we are in the last week of the month of February. So we are going into March already, which is the end of the first quarter. And we can actually see that the last week of February is not really action-packed. We have a bank holiday in Japan today, and on Tuesday we do also not have any significant kind of news. Wednesday is a CPI event surrounded by the Australian dollar. For now, the Australian dollar is not something that looks really interesting to me, but it could be the case that after the CPI event, it could offer some easier trades. So if I would like to give you a suggestion, if you want to trade a pair around the Australian dollar, look at it after, for myself, Wednesday night, so that you can have the CPI event released. So that will be the manipulation mover for the Australian dollar, so that we can have play in on the distribution later on. Surrounding the dollar, we mainly have the news events later on in the week, which is the Thursday and the Friday, where we have red folder news at 2:30 p.m., which is 8:30 a.m. for the US. So main action is going to be distributed at the latter end of the week. So we need to see how the beginning of the week forms, if we can already get into a certain position um, before we are going into the news events, or are we going to consolidate and will the news events going to be the manipulation of the week? Personally, I do not think so, and we will cover that in the chat itself. Again, for people who were hopping in later on, little Outlook stream. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the chat. I will cover everything, especially since there are not a lot of viewers. I have some time on my hand, so make absolutely sure to leave comments in the chat so that we can have a little discussion about whatever you want, actually. All right, that was the economic calendar. So first of all, I would like to cover the DXY index. And let's zoom out a little bit to see where we are actually trading. Looking at the daily chart on the dollar index, we can see that after a long period of consolidation, which was beginning right around the end of December, we saw a prolonged period of consolidation. This types of price action, this is purely just a consolidation profile. Because why is it a consolidation profile? Every move is not sustained. You can clearly see it over here. We have a push higher, immediately followed by a push lower, push higher, push lower, lower, higher, etc., etc. You can clearly see that every move that was being made is not really sustainable, and we saw actually pretty much an immediate reversal of the move that took place already. However, after the consolidation took place, we can clearly see that here, after this move, we had a clear breakdown. And with this breakdown lower, we saw a retracement higher into this daily key level, which is, of course, the daily fair value gap, where last week we created the Wednesday high of the week profile, where we displaced lower from this daily key level. Here you can clearly see the displacement that took place on Thursday. So what is now the main area to look at for the dollar index? In my opinion, the midterm draw on liquidity finds itself around over here, this sell side liquidity pool at 105.42 is the main first target in the midterm for the dollar index, actually. So in overall case, we are following the order flow. And personally, I would say that we are going to look for more shorts during the course of this trading week. What can we see right over here? With this high being formed in the key level and the displacement away, we can see that we have broken this low. So we have a range, a dealing range right over here that has been established, which is a little bit more clear here on the 4-hour time frame. You can clearly see this high and this low, and this is the beginning of that daily order block, which has been established. This is the New York weekly opening price, and what is the main scenario that I am looking for? Look, when you are trading, at least for me, I am short biased. I am willing to look for shorts overall in the marketplace on dollar. So I'm going to be patient, and I would like to be a seller in a premium. We have established this dealing range right over here. And with that dealing range, we can see that this is everything over here is trading at a discount of the total price lag. What can we see? That barely in discount, we can see it's almost at equilibrium, but we can clearly see that we have an inducement high right over here, just below the equilibrium of the dealing range. So what am I looking for is to establish an early high of the week, like on like a Tuesday high of the week scenario, where we are going to take out this range high because this is a lower time frame range inside of the bigger time frame range. So I would like to see a manipulation move higher, taking out the range high into the key level on the daily, which is of course the daily order block, so that we can establish a reversal from there. Could you play the reversal? Yes, of course you could, but you could also, but it is not really suggested. It is always suggested to wait for institutional sponsorship to occur before you are going to take a trade. So if you are going to trade this over here, you are trading the turtle soup because you are anticipating a rejection of the range high. So we are taking out buy side liquidity and you're anticipating a move towards the sell side liquidity pool after the buy side has been taken out. This is a valid option and it is, of course, an absolute valid way to trade. However, you could also wait. You could wait for the deviation above the range high, wait for institutional sponsorship from that daily key level, so that displacement away from that daily key level, and then you are going to trade the continuation lower towards the sell side liquidity pool. So both options are valid. With the second option, you are a little bit more safer. With the first option, you are having a little bit more risk on the table, but you would get the best entry overall, of course. First target on the DXY index would actually be this range low right over here. Is this range low right over here? This is the low-hanging fruit target on an hourly perspective. But if we are going to move right over here, it is very much likely that we are also going to move towards that 106 big figure number, which is of course a psychological level in regards to the dollar index. And depending on such levels and how we are going to react from there, it is very much likely that we are going to see a sustained move lower towards 105.42. Could that happen this week? It could. Does it need to happen this move towards that 105 level? No, it does not. Yeah, no risk, no Rari. That's absolutely true, man. That's absolutely true. No risk, no Rari. Um, but that's the dollar index. So for now, let's hop into the euro chart, where the euro chart looks a little bit less clean compared to the dollar chart. It is a little bit more messy, but overall we are bullish on euro. What is the overall draw on liquidity on a daily? We can see that we are clearly in bullish order flow and that we have established a lot of engineered buy side liquidity right over here. And I am looking for price to trades towards the relative equal highs over here at 1.05345. So how could we anticipate trades? Well, over here you can see the order flow. We have this daily dealing range right over here, where this is a confirmed order block because we had a push higher right over here, closing above the series of downwards closing candles. So this order block should be like valid, and this low should hold overall if we are truly bullish. So personally, I am looking for this area to be used as the low of the week. So this order block could be used as a high time frame key level where the low of the week is going to be formed, so that we can trade higher from this area itself. If we zoom in on the 4-hour, this range is not confirmed yet on the 4-hour, so we need to look at this high and this high as our 4-hour dealing range. Why is this range not confirmed yet? Because we are not seeing the displacement away from this 4-hour order block. If we are able to trade away from here and create new highs, then this low should not be violated. But that is not the case as of yet. So for now, we are actually looking at this 4-hour dealing range. And this is the lower time frame range within the bigger time frame range. And I'm looking for this sell side liquidity pool, which is the range low, which is just created above the daily order block. I'm sorry, I need to point out the correct one. It's this one right over here. Here you can clearly see that this low is just created above the daily order block, which is the level we want to utilize as that high time frame key level. So again, what could you do and what could you anticipate over here? First of all, we want to see that move lower, right? So we want to see the move lower. You could trade the turtle soup underneath the sell side liquidity pool here at range low and place limit entries at the order block, with your stop losses below the confirmed low, which should not be violated, and play euro towards the opposite side of the range. Or again, you are going to wait for institutional sponsorship at the high time frame key level, where you want to see displacement after the sell side liquidity pool has been rated, and that you are going to play the continuation towards the range high, which is the low hanging fruit, but we should also reach that buy side liquidity pool on the daily time frame if we are going to trade higher towards that range high. For the careful listeners, if there are there any questions actually, or could I just simply move on with the next asset we are looking at? Next up is going to be GU. Okay, since there are no comments in the chat, I am just going to move on and go to the next chart. You only trade EU and GU in the London and New York kill zone. Not only, it is true that I mainly trade like dollar pairs, so majors overall. I can go over this is like the watch list that I have. These are the main pairs that I'm looking at, but I also utilize them as like looking at relative strength and how intermarket correlation is going on at the moment. But these are the main pairs that I trade, where the main thing is indeed Euro USD and GBP USD that is traded the most, but it's not that I solely trade those pairs. Cheers, mate. No problem. Oh yeah, sure. Make a screenshot. And this is of course the dollar index. I use the bonds as confirmation for dollar and foreign currencies, and Euro GBP is of course for determining relative strength between Euro and GBP USD. I never trade Euro GBP. That's that pair is cursed. So definitely do not do that. And bonds, I do also not trade them, but I use them as a confirmation tool. Is the screenshot be made, Joost? Because otherwise I'm going to pull up the watch list for you again. And otherwise I'm going to move on. Okay, then I'm just going to move on for the British pound, where you can actually see that the British pound overall for a longer period of time has actually been stronger compared to euro. Clearly bullish order flow, and we are still bullish overall. So personally, I am still going to look for higher prices on the British pound. What are the main levels on the daily that I'm looking at? That is this high at 1.27286 and this IPDA daily range high at 1.28115. Those are like the midterm targets for me in regards to the British pound. Again, right over here, I forgot to point it out, but this is SMT. So over here as well, we have this daily range where we are going to be looking at. Why this range? Well, we have this set as a bullish order block. Why is this set a bullish order block? Because we displaced away, broke above here, established here in high. So this is the range and this order block. So we should not violate this low right over here. Looking at the 4 hour, again the same scenario on euro is pointing out here on GBP USD. We cannot use this as our range yet because this low is not confirmed. So we have not a confirmed dealing range right over here. How would that be the case that we get a confirmed dealing range? Is that if we are going to utilize this order block, like this one right over here, and that we are going to trade away from it and create a new high, then we can use this as our invalidation and we can create a new dealing range that we can anticipate new trades from. For now, that is actually something I do not want to see. Personally, I am going to be anticipating the following scenario. I have mentioned the daily order block, which is this line right over here. I want to be a buyer in discount area, so I want to be a buyer below that 0.5 level. We have an engineered liquidity pool at the sell side right over here at the range low. So personally, I would like to see a move lower, utilize the high time frame key level in the form of the daily order block. You can trade the daily order block with your stop loss lower towards the opposite side of the range. Or you are going to wait for the move lower towards the high time frame key level, and you are going to trade the continuation after seeing institutional sponsorship of that high time frame key level. So actually, pretty much the same scenario on the British pound compared to euro. It is a little bit tough to determine which one is going to be stronger compared to the other. So for now, I'm just going to leave that up to yourself, and you have to monitor that throughout the week. But that is the main scenario that I'm also going to be looking at the British pound against the US dollar. Are there any questions in regards to the overall analysis that has been established? Your pens were on, and now they're off? Were the charts so good, man? I have to say, honestly, charts look pretty good. I'm not even gonna lie. Charts look pretty good. Okay, then I'm actually going to cover the last pair, which is USDJPY. This one is going to be a little bit tougher since we are pretty overextended on the move, but I am looking for USDJPY here on the weekly time frame. I want USDJPY to move towards this sell side liquidity pool, which is at 148.649. That is the overall longer term bias. I do think it should be relatively easy for USDJPY to smash that this week. Why is it going to be a little bit tougher to trade this? Well, we had a lot of bearish momentum. So we are having seen full big body candles. So it could easily be the case that we are already taking out the sell side liquidity pool before we are going to see a significant kind of form of retracement. However, I am going to give you the scenario that if we are getting a retracement, that it should be okay to look for short areas. This is the daily range that I'm going to be playing with because I do not want to see this order block going to be violated. So I want this high to be protected. Over here we have a 4-hour fair value gap. We have a short-term high that has not been tested. I want this to be our range low. So we have a range high, range low, a lower time frame range within the bigger time frame range. I want to see a move higher, taking out the short-term high, which is just in premium. And we want to utilize this 4-hour gap as our key level to frame sells from. So what do you want to see? You want to see the move higher, use this as a key level, and of course you can again trade the turtle soup, or you can trade the continuation lower after we are seeing institutional sponsorship. Relatively the same chart as the others, of course. However, this is of course looking for shorts, the others are looking for longs, and maybe one is going to play out, the other is not. We of course never know that for sure. So yeah, that's actually the main things I'm going to be looking at for this week. If I'm going to see any changes for that, you can of course come and take a look at the Discord channel where I'm going to be updating you guys. And if you have any questions, you can leave them right now. in the chat and I can cover them. And if there are not any questions anymore, then I'm going to end off the stream relatively soon. So if you have any questions, make sure to take your chance. Okay, guys, since there are not any questions anymore, I'm going to stop the live stream. And I want to wish you guys a very nice rest of your day. And I will speak to you guys soon. Bye bye.